Om. 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। Brahmaraji, you want me to share the screen?
I will share the screen, Bela.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. Jai Gurudev. So moving on to chapter 12. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha Atha Dvadashodhyayaha Bhakti Yogaha. Arjuna said, in this manner, there are those devotees who, constantly committed, meditate upon you, and also those who seek you as one who is not subject to decline and not available for objectification. Among them, who are the greatest knowers of yoga? Sri Bhagavan said, endowed with unflinching faith, their mind committed to me, being ever united with me, those who meditate upon me are considered by me as the most exalted. This is my vision. However, those who contemplate upon that which is not subject to decline, not describable, not available for objectification, all pervasive, and not an object of thought, which abides in Maya, does not move, and is eternal, having complete mastery over the group of sense organs, those who are always equal-minded and take delight in, or are disposed to the welfare of all beings, gain me alone. Or, having complete mastery over the group of sense organs, only those who are always equal-minded and take delight in, or are disposed to the welfare of all beings, gain me. The affliction is greater still for those whose minds are committed to what cannot be objectified, because an end which cannot be objectified is reached with difficulty by those who are identified with the body. However, those meditators, being the ones for whom I am the ultimate end, giving up all actions unto me, with a commitment in which there is indeed no other, meditating upon me, worship me. For those whose minds are absorbed in me, Partha, before long I become the liberator from the ocean of samsara fraught with death. In me alone may you place the mind. Into me may you make the intellect enter. Thereafter, there is no doubt that you will abide in me alone. If you are not able to absorb your mind steadily in me, then through the practice of yoga, may you seek to reach me, Dhananjaya. Even if you do not have the capacity for the practice of this yoga, may you become one for whom action dedicated to me is paramount. Even doing actions for my sake, you will gain success. Even if you are not able to do this, being one whose practice, commitment is dedicating all actions to me, then being one whose mind is disciplined, give up the results of all actions to me. Knowledge is better indeed than the practice of yoga. Meditation is superior to knowledge. Renunciation of the results of action is better than meditation. Because of renunciation, there is peace immediately. The one who has no hatred for all beings, who has the disposition of a friend, who is compassionate, free from possessiveness, free from I notion, equal in pleasant and unpleasant circumstances, and indeed one who is naturally accommodative, the one who is completely satisfied, who is always united, who has mastery over his mind, whose ascertainment is firm, whose mind and intellect are resolved in me, who is my devotee, is beloved to me. The one because of whom people do not get disturbed, and who does not get disturbed by people, and who is free from elation, intolerance, fear, and anxiety, he is beloved to me. The one who has no dependence, is clean, able, and neutral, from whom fear has gone, who has completely given up all initiation of actions, and who is my devotee, is beloved to me. The one who does not get elated, is not hostile, does not grieve, does not desire, who has completely given up good and bad karma, who has devotion, is beloved to me. The one who is same with reference to an enemy and a friend, so too honor and disgrace, the same with reference to cold, heat, pleasure and pain, and free from attachment, the man who is equal to censure and praise, disciplined in speech, satisfied by whatever he gets, who has no place to call his own, whose knowledge is firm, and who has devotion, is beloved to me. However, those who follow this life that is in keeping with dharma, leading to immortality, as was told, who are endowed with Shraddha, and for whom I am the ultimate end, those devotees are exceedingly beloved to me. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Bhakti Yogo Nama Dvadashodhyayaha. Atha Trayodashodhyayaha Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogaha. Known, knower, yoga. Arjuna said, "This I wish to know, O Keshava. What is the Prakriti and indeed the Purusha, the field and indeed the knower of the field, the means of knowledge and what is to be known?" Shri Bhagavan said, "O Kaunteya, this body is called the field, Kshetra. Those who know that knowledge of the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna call him who knows this as the knower of the field, Kshetrajna. O Bharata, and also may you know me as the knower of the body in all the bodies. That which is knowledge of the body and knowledge of the knower of the body is truly knowledge. This is my vision." And what is that Kshetra? Of what nature? Of what modifications? From what has it come? And who is the Kshetrajna? And what is his glory? For that in brief, listen to me. In many ways, it is sung by the rishis. It is also sung by the sentences of the Vedas as something that is varied and also as something that is distinct. And it is indeed explained by the sentences of the Veda, which reveal Brahman without doubt, by implication and with reasoning. The five subtle elements, the Hiranyagarbha, the Mahat Tattva, or the Samishti Buddhi, the unmanifest cause, Maya, and indeed the 10 organs and one mind, and the 5 sense objects, desire, aversion, pleasure, pain, the physical body, cognition, fortitude, all this is Kshetra, which is stated briefly along with its modifications. Absence of conceit, absence of hypocrisy, harmlessness, accommodation, straightforwardness, reverence for the teacher, cleanliness, steadfastness, self-discipline, dispassion with reference to the sense objects, and indeed absence of pride, and seeing clearly the defects of pain, birth, death, old age, and disease. Absence of ownership, absence of excessive affection regarding son, wife, and house, and always evenness of mind regarding the gain of the desirable and the undesirable, and an unswerving devotion to me that is not connected to anything else, the disposition of repairing to a quiet place, no longing for the company of people, always dwelling upon knowledge centered on the self, keeping in view the purpose of knowledge of the truth. This that was told is the means to knowledge. What is opposite to this is ignorance. What is to be known, that I will tell clearly, knowing which one gains deathlessness. That Brahman, which it is said has no beginning, is limitless, neither existent as an object nor non-existent. The Jneyam Brahma, the one who has hands and feet on all sides, the one who has eyes, heads, and mouths, faces on all sides, the one who has ears on all sides in the bodies of the people, remains pervading everything. That Brahman appears as the attributes of all the organs, is free from all the organs, is unattached, and is the sustainer of all, is free from the 3 gunas, qualities, and is the experiencer of the 3 qualities. And that Jneyam Brahma is outside and inside of the beings. It is that which does not move, and indeed what moves. Because it is subtle, it is not known, and it is far as well as near. and that is to be known as the one who remains undivided in the beings and who is seemingly divided, who is the sustainer of the beings and elements, and who is the devourer and the creator. That Jnayam Brahma, the light of lights, is said to be beyond ignorance. It is knowledge. It is that which is arrived at by knowledge, and it is present in the minds of all. Thus, the kshetra, so too, the means of gaining knowledge and what is to be known has been told in brief. The one who is devoted to me, knowing this clearly, is fit to gain the condition of being me. May you know that both Prakriti and Purusha are indeed beginningless. And may you know that the modifications and indeed the gunas, qualities, are born of Prakriti. Prakriti is said to be the cause in the creation of the physical body and the instruments. Purusha is said to be the cause with reference to the state of being, the experiencer of pleasure and pain. Because Purusha, enjoyer or jiva, obtains in Prakriti, he enjoys the attributes born of Prakriti. His attachment to the attributes is the cause for births in higher and lower wombs. The ultimate seer, permitter, sustainer, enjoyer, limitless Lord, creator, and also called limitless self, is the person who is limitless in this body. The one who knows in this manner Purusha and Prakriti, along with its attributes, even though engaged in all ways, he is not born again. By contemplation in the mind, some see the self with the self, that is the prepared mind, others by knowledge, and others by karma yoga. But others, not knowing in this manner, having heard from others, that is their teachers, being committed to what they have heard, follow, and indeed they also cross death. As long as any existent thing, mobile or immobile, is born, that may you know, Arjuna, is because of the connection between the kshetra and the kshetrajna. The one who sees the Lord remaining the same in all beings as the one who is not being destroyed among the things that are perishing, he alone sees. Because of seeing the Lord as the same, the one who obtains in the same form everywhere, he does not destroy himself. Therefore, he goes to the ultimate end. And he who sees that by Prakriti alone actions are being performed in all ways, and so too, he who sees the self as a non-doer, he alone sees. When one sees clearly the condition of distinction in the beings as having its existence in one Atma, and from that alone is its projection, then he gains Brahman. O Kaunteya, being beginningless and without attributes, this limitless self is imperishable. Even though obtaining in the body, it does not perform action and is not affected by results of action. Just as all pervasive space, because it is subtle, is not affected, so too the self abiding in all states in the body is not affected. O Bharata, just as the one sun illumines this entire world, so too the Kshetri, Atma, one who obtains in the Kshetra, illumines the entire Kshetra. Those who in this manner know the distinction between the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna through the eye of wisdom and know the freedom from Prakriti, the cause of the beings, they go to the ultimate end. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogo Nama Trayodashodhyayaha Atha Chaturdashodhyayaha Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogaha. The yoga of the three gunas. Shri Bhagavan said, I will tell clearly again the ultimate, most exalted knowledge among all forms of knowledge, knowing, gaining which all the sages had reached the ultimate success, release from this body. Resorting to this knowledge, those who have gained oneness with me do not come into being even when there is creation, and in the dissolution of creation, they do not perish. My cause, Maya, is the primordial cause out of which everything grows and which sustains everything. That I impregnate. From that occurs the coming into being of all beings, O Bharata. O Kaunteya, for those forms which are born in all wombs, Brahma, Prakriti, is the original material cause. I am the one who gives the seed, the father. O Arjuna, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, the gunas, qualities existing in Prakriti, bind the changeless indweller of the body to the body. O sinless one, there among these, Sattva, which is illuminating and without affliction, because it is pure, binds by connection to pleasure and connection to knowledge. O son of Kunti, Rajas, may you know, is in the form of a coloring of the mind, causing longing and well-entrenched attachment. By connection with action, that completely binds the indweller of the body. O descendant of Bharata, Tamas, may you know, is born of ignorance and causes delusion for all those who have bodies. It binds the person completely by indifference, slothfulness, and sleep. O Bharata, Sattva binds in the form of pleasure, Rajas in the form of action, but Tamas, covering knowledge, binds indeed in the form of apathy. O Bharata, Sattva arises overwhelming Rajas and Tamas, and indeed Rajas arises overwhelming Tamas and Sattva. So too, Tamas arises overwhelming Rajas and Sattva. When illumination, which is knowledge, is born in all the sense organs in this body, then may one know indeed that Sattva has increased. O foremost in the line of Bharata, greed, physical restlessness, undertaking of activities, mental restlessness, longing, these are born when Rajas has increased. O joy of the Kuru family, dullness and absence of activity, indifference and indeed delusion, these are born when Tamas has increased. When the embodied one dies, when Sattva has increased, then he gains the worlds that are free from impurity of those who know the highest. Having died, when Rajas is predominant, he is born among those committed to karma. So too, the one who died when Tamas was predominant is born in the wombs of those who have no discriminative faculty. They say that the result for the good action done is Satvika, connected to Sattva, and Nirmala, pure, a result that is free from any distress. But pain is the result of Rajas, and ignorance is the result of Tamas. From Sattva is born knowledge, and indeed from Rajas, greed is born. Apathy and delusion are from tamas, and so also is ignorance. Those staying in sattva go higher up. Those belonging to rajas remain in the middle, and those belonging to tamas, having the nature of the lowest guna, go down. When the seer does not see an agent other than the gunas, and when he knows himself as beyond the gunas, he gains, understands my nature. Crossing the three gunas that are the cause of the body, the embodied one, released from birth, death, old age, and sorrow, gains immortality. Arjuna said, O Lord, by what characteristics does he become recognizable as one who has crossed these three gunas? What is his conduct, and how does he transcend these three gunas? O Arjuna, brightness, activity, and even delusion that have come to occur, he does not despise. Nor does he long for those that have gone away. He who, remaining seemingly indifferent, is not shaken by the gunas, and he who abides in himself, thinking that the gunas alone are acting, and the one who does not move from the vision of the self, the wise man, who is the same with reference to pleasure and pain, abiding in himself, the same with reference to a clod of earth, a stone, or gold, the same in pleasant and unpleasant situations, the same with reference to censure and praise, who is the same towards respect and insult, the same towards views of a friend or an enemy, who has given up all undertakings, is called the one who is beyond the gunas. And the one who with unswerving devotion worships or seeks me, he, having properly crossed these gunas, is fit for being Brahman. I am the basis indeed of Brahman, which is immortal, not subject to change, the eternal dharma, the basis of everything, and which is of the nature of happiness that is not subject to negation. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogo Nama Chaturdashodhyayaha Atha Panchadashodhyayaha Purushottama Yogaha. Shri Bhagavan said, they say the imperishable Ashwatha tree has its roots above, its branches below, and the Vedas are its leaves. The one who knows that is a knower of the Vedas. Its branches that are augmented by the gunas, with sense objects as their shoots, are spread out below and above. And below, the diffused roots are the karmas that bind in the world of mortals. Its form is not as it is perceived here. It has no end, no beginning, and no continuance in between. After cutting this Ashwatha tree, whose roots are well entrenched, with the firm weapon of detachment, then that end into which those who have gone do not return is to be properly inquired into with the attitude that I surrender to that Adi Purusha alone, from whom the ancient creation has come forth. Those who are free from the demand for respect and from delusion, who have conquered the fault of attachment, who are always focused on the self, and from whom desires have completely gone, who are totally free from the opposites known as pleasure and suffering, and are not deluded, go to gain that imperishable end. Neither the sun, nor moon, nor fire illumines that which, having gone to, they do not return. That is my limitless abode. In the individual's world, a part of me alone exists as the Jiva, which is eternal. And when the one who rules the body departs, he draws to himself the five senses and the mind, the sixth obtaining in the body. And when he obtains a new body, he goes taking these, the sense organs and the mind, with him, just as the wind would carry the fragrances from their sources, that is, flowers. Presiding over the ear, the eye, the senses of touch, taste, and smell, and the mind, this person, Jiva, experiences the sense objects. The deluded do not see the one who is departing from the body or even remaining in this body, experiencing or endowed with the gunas. Those who have the eye of wisdom see. And the yogis who are making effort see this self-obtaining in the buddhi. And those whose minds are not mature and who do not have viveka do not see this Atma even if they are making an effort. May you know that the brilliance that obtains in the sun and illumines the entire world, that which is in the moon and which is in the fire, belongs to me. And having entered the earth, I sustain the beings with strength, and I nourish all the vegetation, having become soma in the form of their essence. Having become the digestive fire obtaining in the bodies of living beings, endowed with prana and apana, I cook the fourfold food. And I have entered the hearts of all. From me have come memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness. I alone am the one to be known by all the Vedas, and I alone am the author of the Vedanta, Vedanta Sampradaya, and the knower of the Vedas. These two persons, the perishable and the imperishable, exist in the world. All beings and elements are called the perishable. The changeless is called the imperishable. But the other superior person is called Paramatma, the limitless self, the changeless Lord, who, having entered the three worlds, sustains them. Because I am beyond the destructible and also above the indestructible too, therefore, in the world and in the Veda, I am renowned as Purushottama. The one who is not deluded, who knows me in this way, he, becoming the knower of that which is all, gains me as the self of all, O Bharata. O Bharata, O sinless one, thus this most profound teaching has been said by me. Knowing this, a person becomes one who has buddhi and who has accomplished all that has to be accomplished. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottama Yogo Nama Panchadashodhyayaha. Atha Shodashodhyayaha Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yogaha. The yoga of becoming and unbecoming dispositions. Shri Bhagavan said, freedom from fear, purity of mind, steadiness in contemplation, charity, judicious restraint, performing rituals, recitation of one's own branch of the Veda, religious discipline, austerity, alignment of thought, word, deed, absence of hurting, truthfulness, resolution of anger, renunciation, resolution of the mind, absence of calumny, compassion for living beings, absence of ardent longing, softness, modesty, absence of physical agitation, brilliance, composure, fortitude, cleanliness, no thought of hurting, and no exaggerated self opinion are there for the one who is born to the wealth of Devas, O Bharata. O Partha, the one who is born to the wealth of an Asura has hypocrisy with reference to dharma, pride, a tendency to demand respect, anger, harshness, and indeed a lack of discrimination. Spiritual wealth, wealth of Devas, is considered to be for freedom, the wealth of an Asura for bondage. Do not grieve, Pandava. You are born to spiritual wealth. In this world, there are two types of created beings, the Daiva, divine, and Asura. The divine have been extensively spoken of. Listen to me, Partha, about the characteristics of Asuras. People who have qualities belonging to the Asuras do not know what is to be done and what is to be withdrawn from. There is neither inner cleanliness nor proper conduct, nor truthfulness in them. They say this world of people is untruthful, without ethical basis, godless, and is born of the union of male and female, is driven by passion and nothing else. Having recourse to this view, these enemies of the world, whose minds are destroyed, who are of meager thinking and cruel actions, are there very much for the destruction of the world. Resorting to desire that is difficult to fulfill, those who are riddled with pretension, demand for respect and pride, whose pursuits are unbecoming, having adopted false purposes due to delusion, engage themselves in various actions. Those committed to immeasurable concern until death, intent upon enjoyment of objects of desire, having concluded it, that is life, is this much alone, committed to desire and anger, and bound by hundreds of fetters of hope, engage themselves in the accumulation of wealth illegitimately for the enjoyment of objects of desire. Today, this is gained by me. I will gain this that is pleasing to the mind. This wealth I have. This wealth also I will have later. So they think. This enemy is destroyed by me, and I will destroy others also. I am the ruler. I am the enjoyer. I am successful, powerful, and happy. So they think. Those who are totally deluded due to lack of discrimination say, I have wealth. I was born in a very good family. Who else is there equal to me? I will perform rituals. I will give. I will enjoy. Those who are completely deluded by many types of thoughts, covered by the net of delusion, that is lack of discrimination, and totally committed to the enjoyment of desirable objects, fall into the unclean naraka, that is places of pain. Those who are self-glorifying, vain, conceited, filled with pride and arrogance because of their wealth, perform rituals that are rituals in name only, not according to stipulations, but out of pretension. Those who are completely given to egoism, brute strength, insolence, enjoyment, and anger, who despise me in their own and others' bodies, who are great cavillers, those men who are hateful and cruel, who are the lowest of men, who are wrongdoers, I dispatch repeatedly into a life of transmigration only in Asuri wombs. Arjuna, these who lack discrimination, obtaining the womb of an Asura in every birth, certainly not reaching me, go to an end that is even lower than that. This doorway to Naraka of painful experiences, which destroys a person, is threefold: desire, anger, and also greed. Therefore, one should give up this triad. A man who is free from these three gates to darkness, Kaunteya, follows what is good for himself. Because of that, he reaches the higher end. The one who, being impelled by binding desire, engages himself, casting away the injunctions of the Shastra, gains neither maturity nor happiness here, nor a higher end. Therefore, Shastra is the means of knowledge for you in the determination of what is to be done and not to be done. Knowing what is said by the mandates of the Shastra, you are obliged to perform action here in this world. Om Tat Sat. Iti Shrimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yogo Nama Shodashodhyayaha. Atha Saptadashodhyayaः Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yogaha. The threefold Shraddha. Arjuna said, O Krishna, those who perform a ritual, giving up what is stipulated by the Shastra, but endowed with Shraddha, what is their basis? Is it Sattva, Rajas, or Tamas? Shri Bhagavan said, the Shraddha of the embodied beings is born of the nature of the mind. As Sattvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika, it is threefold. Listen to that threefold Shraddha. O Bharata, Shraddha of everyone is in keeping with his mind. This person who is permeated by Shraddha, whatever is his Shraddha, he conforms to that Shraddha. The Sattvika people worship the Devas. The Rajasika people worship the Yaksha Rakshasas. And the other Tamasika people worship ghosts and Bhutaganas. Those people who, riddled with pretension and egotism, endowed with strong passion and longing, and lacking in discrimination, perform terrible religious disciplines, not enjoined by the Shastra, emaciating the sense organs, obtaining in the body, and me too, who obtains within the body. May you know them to be of Asura conviction. And also for everyone, the food that is liked is threefold. So too are ritual, religious discipline, and charity. Listen to this difference of theirs. Sattvika people love succulent, oily, fortifying, and pleasing foods, which increase longevity, mental clarity, strength, health, pleasure in taste, and aesthetic pleasure. Foods which are very bitter, sour, salty, hot, pungent, astringent, and burning, that give pain, sorrow, and ill health, are highly desired by Rajasika people. Food which is old or inadequately cooked, from which the essence has gone, which is putrid, day-old, leavings, and also unfit as an offering, is beloved to a Tamasika person. That ritual, which is known through the Shastra and is performed by those who do not expect a result other than Antahkarana Shuddhi, by making up the mind, this ritual is just to be performed, is Sattvika. On the other hand, may you know that ritual which is offered keeping in view a result, and also just to proclaim one's own religiosity, is Rajasika, Arjuna. They say that a ritual which is bereft of the stipulation of Shastra, without distribution of food, without proper recitation of mantras, without distribution of wealth, and without Shraddha, is Tamasika. Worshipping gods, brahmanas, teachers, and wise people, external cleanliness, straightforwardness, self-discipline, and not physically hurting are all collectively called discipline of the physical body. Speech which does not cause agitation, which is true, pleasing, and beneficial, and daily repetition of one's own Veda are collectively called discipline of speech. Mental cheerfulness, cheerfulness in expression, absence of pressure to talk, mastery over the mind, clean intent. These together is called mental discipline. That threefold tapas, observed with total shraddha by people who have no expectation of results other than mental purity and who are composed, is called sattvika. That tapas, which is done for the sake of receiving honor, respect, and worship, and with ostentation, which is unsteady and not lasting, is called here rajasika. That tapas which is done due to deluded understanding by afflicting one's own body or for the sake of destroying another is called tamasika. That charity which is given thinking it is to be given to one from whom one does not expect a return in the proper place at the proper time and to a worthy recipient is considered sattvika charity. On the other hand, that charity which is given for the sake of being helped in return or keeping in view a result, punya, to be gained later, and that which is fraught with pain is considered rajasika. That charity which is given without respect, improperly, contemptuously, at the wrong place and wrong time, and to unworthy recipients is called tamasika. Om Tat Sat is the threefold expression of Brahman. By that, the Brahmanas, the four Vedas, and rituals were created in the beginning. Therefore, for those who know the Vedas, the activities such as rituals, charities, and religious disciplines mentioned by injunctions of the Veda always begin by pronouncing Om. Saying Tat, various activities such as rituals and religious disciplines and charitable activities are performed by those who want moksha without expecting a result other than antahkarana shuddhi. This Sat is used with reference to bringing into existence and with reference to a righteous life. So too, Partha, the word Sat is used for a sanctifying karma. A commitment with reference to a ritual, a religious discipline, and giving charity is called Sat. And a karma for their sake or for the sake of Ishvara is also called Sat. That which is without Shraddha, offered in a religious ritual, given as charity, performed as a religious discipline, and that karma which is done is called Asat. That which does not serve its purpose, Arjuna, and that is not fruitful after death, and indeed not here. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yogo Nama सप्तदशोऽध्यायः अथ अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसन्न्यासयोगः. The yoga of moksha and sannyasa. Arjuna said, O mighty armed, I want to know distinctly the truth of sannyasa and tyaga. O Lord of the senses, slayer of Keshi. Shri Bhagavan said, the wise know sannyasa as renunciation of actions for desired objects. The learned people say renunciation of the results of action is tyaga. Some wise men say that action which is inherently defective is to be given up, and others say that an action which is a ritual, charity, or religious discipline should not be given up. O, the most mature of the Bharata family, listen to my ascertained opinion about this renunciation. O Arjuna, tiger among men, renunciation is well stated as threefold. An action that is a ritual, charity, or religious discipline is not to be given up. That is indeed to be done. Ritual, charity, and religious discipline are indeed purifying for those who are discriminative. But even these actions are to be done, giving up attachment and giving up the results. This is my clear, proper vision, Partha. But renunciation of enjoined action is not proper. Renunciation of it enjoined action out of delusion is called tamasika. One may give up the karma as indeed painful out of fear of affliction to his physical body. Having done that, rajasika renunciation, he would certainly not gain the result of renunciation. It is to be done, thinking thus, when only the enjoined karma is done, giving up attachment and result, O Arjuna, it is considered to be a sattvika renunciation. The renunciate of the results of action, being the one who is endowed with a pure mind, then being the one who has discriminative knowledge and whose doubts are gone, does not despise inauspicious kamya karma, nor does he cling to auspicious karma. Indeed, actions cannot be given up completely by the one who sustains a body, but the one who is a renunciate of the results of action is called a tyagi. Undesirable, desirable, and a mixture, the threefold result of action exists after death for the non-renunciates, but never for the renunciates. Understand from me, O mighty arm, these 5 causes for the accomplishment of all karmas told in the Shastra at the end of the Vedas, that is, Vedanta, which is the point of culmination of all karma. The physical body, so too the agent, and the separate and manifold means, the distinct and diverse activities of the pranas, and indeed Daiva, the presiding deities, is the 5th year. That karma, whether proper or the opposite, improper, which a man undertakes with the body, speech, or mind, has these 5 causes. When this is so, the one who sees, on the other hand, the self which is pure as the agent because of an immature mind, that person whose thinking is distorted does not see the truth. The one who has no I notion, the one whose mind is not affected, he, even killing these people, does not kill, nor is he bound. Knowledge, that is the vritti corresponding to an object, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the threefold impellers of action. The means of doing, instrument, the object of the action, and the agent are the threefold constituents of karma. Knowledge, action, and agent are only threefold according to the differences in guna. It is said in the Shastra of the enumeration of the gunas. Listen to those also, just as it is unfolded. That knowledge by which one sees one changeless existence in all things, undivided among the divided, may you know, is sattvika. On the other hand, knowledge by which one knows distinctly the manifold natures of different kinds of beings, that knowledge may you know as rajasa. Whereas that knowledge by which one is committed to one object as though it is everything, and which is without reasoning, illogical, without truth, and very limited, that knowledge is called tamasa. That action which is enjoined and which is done without attachment, without being impelled purely by likes and dislikes by a person without a binding desire for result, is called sattvika. But that karma which is done by one who has a pronounced desire for the result, or again with arrogance and a lot of effort, is called rajasa. That action which is begun not taking into account the natural consequence, loss, injury to others, and one's own capacity because of delusion, is called tamasa. The one who is free from attachment, who has no egotism, who is endowed with resolve and enthusiasm, and is unperturbed in success and failure, is called a sattvika karta, doer. The one who has a predominance of raga and a predominant desire for the result of action, who is greedy, whose nature is to hurt, who is not clean, and who is subject to elation and depression, is called a rajasa karta, doer. The one who is disturbed, immature, irreverent, deceptive, cruel, lazy, given to sadness, and a procrastinator is called a tamasa karta, doer. O Dhananjaya, please listen to the threefold difference according to guna of the mind and of the resolve that is being told completely and severally. The mind which knows the pursuit of karma and renunciation, what is to be done and what is not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, and bondage and freedom, that mind, Partha, is Satviki. That mind with which one wrongly knows what is proper and improper, what is to be done and what is not to be done, Partha, is Rajasi. The mind which covered with ignorance considers what is improper as proper and all things the reverse of what they are. That mind, O Partha, is Tamasi. The unflinching resolve with which one sustains by practice the activities of the mind, prana, and organs of action and knowledge, that resolve is Satviki, Partha. Whereas Arjuna, the resolve with which the one who has a longing for result, according to the prevailing circumstances, sustains activities for religious merit, pleasure, and security, that resolve is Rajasi. That resolve by which the one whose thinking is improper does not give up sleep, fear, sorrow, depression, and intoxication is Tamasi, Partha. Listen to me now, Arjuna, about the threefold happiness. That is, that in which one discovers joy by repetition and gains the end of sorrow, which in the beginning is like poison, and when there is transformation is like nectar. That happiness is called Sattvika, born of the clarity of self-knowledge. That happiness from the contact of a sense organ with its object, which in the beginning is like nectar, and when it changes is like poison, is called Rajasa. That happiness which in the beginning and at the end is self-deluding and born of sleep, laziness, and indifference is called Tamasa. There is no existent being either on the earth or furthermore in heaven among the gods who is free from these three gunas born of Prakriti, nature. The duties of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras, Arjuna, are divided according to qualities born of Swabhava, Ishvara's Maya, one's nature, and one's karma. Composure, restraint, religious discipline, inner and external cleanliness, accommodation, and indeed straightforwardness, knowledge, assimilated knowledge, and accepting the veracity of the Vedas is collectively the duty born of nature of a Brahmana. Valor, self-confidence, resolve, adroitness, not running from conflict, giving, and overlordship, leadership are the naturally born duties and disposition of a Kshatriya. Agriculture, tending cattle, and commerce are natural duties of a Vaishya. And the natural duty of a Sudra is in the form of service. A man who delights in his own duty gains success. Listen to how one devoted to his own duty finds success. Through one's duty, worshipping him from whom is the creation of the beings, by whom all this is pervaded, a human being gains success. One's own duty, devoid of merit, is better than the duty of another well done. Doing action enjoined according to one's nature, one does not incur fault. The karma that is natural according to your birth, O Kaunteya, though defective, one should not give up, because all undertakings are covered with fault, like fire is covered with smoke. The one whose mind is free from attachment everywhere, who has self-mastery, and from whom longing has gone, gains the most exalted accomplishment of actionlessness by renunciation. How the one who has gained the accomplishment of Antakarana Shuddhi gains the ultimate certainty of the knowledge that is Brahman, learn from me in brief, O son of Kunti. The one who endowed with a mind that is very clear, mastering the body-mind-sense complex, being endowed with firm resolve, and giving up the sense objects such as sound, etc., and giving up likes and dislikes, the one who lives in a quiet place, who eats lightly, whose speech, body, and mind are mastered, who is always committed to contemplation, who has completely resorted to freedom from longing, giving up misplaced I sense, power, vanity, binding desire, anger, ownership of external things, the one who has no sense of ownership of his own body, etc., who is tranquil, is fit for certainty about being Brahman. The one who has become Brahman has recognized oneself as Brahman, whose mind is cheerful, does not grieve or long for anything. The one for whom all beings are the same as himself gains the highest devotion to me. By bhakti, knowledge, he, Brahma Bhutaha, knows me properly as to how much I am in reality. Thereafter, knowing me in reality, he enters me soon after that knowing. The one who is always doing all proper actions, whose basis for all actions and results is myself, gains the end, which is eternal and imperishable because of my grace. Being one whose only end is myself, mentally renouncing all actions unto me, resorting to a life of karma yoga, may you become one whose mind is always in me. Being one whose mind is always in me, because of my grace, you will cross all difficulties. But if, because of egotism, you do not listen to me, you will perish. Resorting to egotism that you think, I will not fight, this resolve of yours is false. Your disposition will impel you. Arjuna, being definitely bound by your own action, which is born of your natural disposition, you will helplessly do just what you, out of delusion, do not wish to do. The Lord remains at the seat of the intellect of all beings, Arjuna, causing all beings to move, revolve by the magic of his Maya, like those figures which are mounted on a machine are made to revolve. Surrender to him alone with your whole heart, Arjuna. By his grace, you will gain absolute peace, the eternal abode. Thus, the knowledge that is more secret than any secret was told by me to you. Considering this completely, you may do just as you wish. Again, listen to my ultimate statement, which is the most secret of all. You are definitely beloved to me, and therefore I will tell you what is good. Become one whose mind is offered to me, one whose devotion is to me, one whose worship is to me. Do salutations to me. You will reach me alone. I truly promise you, because you are dear to me. Giving up all karmas, take refuge in me alone. I will release you from all karma. Do not grieve. This teaching given to you is never to be taught by you to one who has no religious discipline, nor to one who has no devotion, nor to one who is not willing to listen, nor to one who finds fault with me where there is none. The one who teaches this most exalted secret Shastra to my devotees, having offered the highest devotion to me, will come to me alone. There is no doubt. And there is no one other than him who is the best among men, who does what is dear to me. And there will not be another dearer to me than him on the earth. And the one who studies or recites this dialogue of ours, that is unopposed to dharma, through that ritual in the form of knowledge, I would be worshipped. This is my conclusion. The person who has trust in the Shastra and who does not find fault with this Shastra, even if he merely listens to the Gita, even he being liberated, would gain the auspicious worlds of those who do good karmas. Has this been listened to by you, Partha, with a single pointed mind? Is your delusion that is caused by ignorance destroyed, Dhananjaya? Arjuna said, by your grace, my delusion is gone, and I have gained recognition of myself, Achyuta. I remain as one from whom all doubts have gone. I will do what you say. Sanjaya said, in this manner, I have heard this dialogue between Vasudeva and Partha of great mind and heart, which is wonderful and which makes one's hands stand on end. By the grace of Vyasa, I have listened to the secret and ultimate yoga from Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, directly teaching it himself. O King, repeatedly recalling this wondrous, auspicious dialogue between Keshava and Arjuna, I rejoice again and again. And further, repeatedly recalling that most wondrous form of the Lord, Hari, I have great amazement, O King, and I rejoice again and again. Wherever there is Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, wherever there is Partha, the one who bears the bow, there wealth, victory, various riches, and definite justice are present. This is my conclusion. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Iti Sri Mahabharate Shatasahasryam Samhitayam Vaiyasikyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Moksha Sannyasa Yogo Nama Ashtadashodhyayaha. Just give me a second. We'll just close our eyes and just for a few minutes, let's just reflect on all that we have listened before we start the Gita Mahatmya. Om Tat Sat. Gita Mahatmyam. Dhara Bhudevi said, O blessed Lord, O supreme ruler, how may one who is held back by his prarabdha karma obtain unswerving devotion? The Lord Vishnu said, if one be devoted to the constant practice of the Gita, even though he be restrained by prarabdha karma, yet he is mukta, happy. In this very world lies not tainted by new karma. No evil, however great, can affect him who meditates on the Gita. He is like the lotus leaf untouched by the water. Where there is the book of the Gita, where its study is proceeded with, there are present all the holy places. There verily are Prayaga and the rest. There also are all the Devas, Rishis, Yogis, and Pannagas. So also the Gopalas and Gopikas. And with Narada, Uddhava, and their whole train of comrades. Where the Gita is read, forthwith comes help. Where the Gita is discussed, recited, taught, or heard, there, O Bhudevi, beyond a doubt, do I myself unfailingly reside. In the refuge of the Gita I abide. The Gita is my chief abode. Standing on the wisdom of the Gita, I maintain the three worlds. The Gita is my supreme knowledge. It is undoubtedly inseparable from Brahman. This knowledge is absolute, imperishable, eternal, of the essence of my inexpressible state. The knowledge comprising the whole of the three Vedas, supremely blissful and consisting of the realization of the true nature of the self, declared by the all-knowing and blessed Krishna through his own lips to Arjuna. That man who with steady mind recites the 18 chapters daily attains the perfection of knowledge and thus reaches the highest plane. If the whole cannot be recited, then half of it may be read, and he who does this acquires merit equal to that of the gift of a cow. There is no doubt about this. By the recitation of a third part, he gains the same merit as by bathing in the Ganges. By the repetition of a sixth part, he obtains the fruit of the Soma sacrifice. He who reads full of devotion even one chapter daily attains to Rudra Loka and lives there for a long time, having become one of those who wait on Shiva. The man who daily reads a quarter of a chapter or of a shloka, O Bhudevi, attains to human birth throughout the duration of a Manu. The man who recites 10, 7, 5, 4, 3 or 2 shlokas, or even one or half a shloka of the Gita, certainly lives in Chandraloka for 10,000 years. He who leaves the body while reading the Gita obtains the world of man. Again, practicing the Gita, he attains supreme mukti. The dying man uttering the word Gita will attain the goal. One who loves to hear the meaning of the Gita, even though he has committed heinous sins, attains to heaven and lives in beatitude with Vishnu. He who constantly meditates on the meaning of the Gita, even though he performs karma incessantly, he is to be regarded as a Jivan Mukta, and after the destruction of his body, he attains to the highest plane of knowledge. By the help of this Gita, many kings like Janaka became free from their impurities and attained to the highest goal. It is so sung. He who, having finished the reading of the Gita, does not read its Mahatmyam, as declared here, his reading is in vain. It is all labor wasted. He who studies the Gita, accompanied with this discourse on its Mahatmyam, obtains the fruit stated herein and reaches that goal which is difficult to attain. Suta said, He who will read this eternal greatness of the Gita declared by me, after having finished the reading of the Gita itself, will obtain the fruit described herein. Thus ends the Gita Mahatmyam as contained in the Varaha Purana. With your permission, I would like to complete today's session by reciting this. This is actually in Telugu. I will read the English version first, and then I will chant the Telugu version, so that we'll end with that. This is in 18 verses. The essence of each chapter is given. Each chapter is given as one verse, right? Bhagavad Gita Tatparyardha. Understand the essence of the Bhagavad Gita and enjoy the eternal happiness unfolded by the Shruti and the Smriti. The Jiva, smitten by I-ness and my-ness, leads an unrighteous life and gets tainted by the fruits of his actions. To neutralize the results of own actions, the Jiva ought to be devoted to his Guru and realize through the teaching that the Jiva is Ishvara. In order to realize that he is Ishvara, the Jiva must perform righteous actions with the spirit of dedicating all the results of such actions to Ishvara, and in the process cleanse his mind of all impurities effectively. With such a pure mind, he should see action in inaction and inaction in action, and thus render himself as a yogi who has as though performed all actions. Understanding that it is impossible to give up actions, the wise renounce the results of all actions and abide in eternal happiness. Freedom will be elusive to an unmastered mind, but self-realization is possible with the mastery of the mind. I am the one and naught is another. All plurality can be likened to the beads strung on a single thread. Understanding that he is the divine Brahman indicated by Om and giving up the notion, I am the body, the Jiva will be free. I am the unmanifest in all that is manifest, all in me and I in all. I am the support and prime cause of all. I abide as the beginning, being, and the end of all. You had seen different things at different places and times. Endowed with the divine vision, see all the animate and inanimate beings in me. I shine as in all. Pray to me with devotion. If your mind and intellect are totally absorbed in me, you become I. The body is the field. I am the knower in all fields. The proper understanding of these two, in my opinion, is true knowledge. That person who transcends the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, which are the cause of birth, being, and end, will be a jivan mukta. The effect of Maya is declinable and Maya is indeclinable. Cut away these two with which the sword of detachment and be free. Divine qualities like Shama, mastery of the mind, and Dhamma, mastery of the senses, lead to happiness and hence must be acquired. Perpetual wanting, anger, and possessive nature generate sorrow and hence must be given up. It is held that the reference to Brahman is threefold, that is, Om, Tat Sat, and as such, Brahmanas, Vedas, and sacrifices were evolved. Devoid of the three gunas, attain to that Brahman. The Jivan Mukta, a Brahma Jnani, neither gets deluded nor is sorrowful. He finds his essential nature and soon after abides in Atma. Thus, this essence of the Gita, even if digested once with sincerity and devotion, will elevate man to the state of Jivan Mukti here and Videha Mukti hereafter. This is a verse dedicating the composition to Lakshmi Narayana. Understand the essence of the Bhagavad Gita and enjoy the eternal happiness unfolded by the Shruti and the Smriti. This is a blessing from the composer, Sri Kalaga Anjaneya Swami, to all those who, with devotion, revel in this Gita Tatparyardhamu.
Is this in Telugu?
Yeah, I will chant this in a short while.
No,
Om
but
Shri
it's not
Gurubhyo
in the
Namaha.
it's not in the Sanskrit. Eh?
Yes, just give me a minute.
Thank-
This compilation of Bhagavad Gita done in the MS Word. I just want to complete this because in the MS 2000 format is based on the Bhagavad Gita home study course by Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati. The course is an edited transcript of classroom discussions at the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam. It is available in 4 volumes from, the details are given. The Bhagavad Gita is made with sincere reverence to Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Every minor change is made with trepidation and concern. As Bhagavad Gita is intended for study within the close circle of family and friends, no prior approval was sought for this compilation. And now seeking the blessings of Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati to enable further study of the Gita Shastra, this was already sent to Arsha Vidya Gurukulam prior to mailing to any other person for information and use, if thought fit, by the Gurukulam. The compilation is meant to cater to students like me with little knowledge of Sanskrit and is almost 100% copy of the Tatparya of each shloka as presented by Pujya Swamiji in the original Bhagavad Gita home study course volumes. Minor changes without affecting the Tatparya have been made to remove the printer's devils and the like. Minor changes were made to the titles of chapters too. So I will just run through this. So this was compiled by Nana. So I just wanted to, so these are all, one can go through this. The sites are good and you can spend a lifetime browsing through them and benefit from them. That is it. So a child of Srimati Chavali Lakshmi Kantam and late Sri Venkat Rao. Nana did not want to put his name up there. He just mentioned his parents. So I will use the next few minutes to chant this beautiful compilation, which, every verse is one chapter, is the essence of one chapter. So bear with me. This is not in Sanskrit. This is in Telugu. But I will request you to just close your eyes and listen to it innocently. This is what I have grown up. I've grown up listening to my grandmother. My father continues to chant this. Bhagavad Gita Tatparyardhamu Bhagugamiralu Vinaraya Nigamagama Samvedyam Baitagu Nityanandamunandaraya Jeevudu Mamata Ahankrutulanu Badi Dharmamutappi Charinchunaya Dharmamutappi Charincheduvaniki Karma falambulu tappavaya Karma falambulu tapputakunu guru Padanati bhakti nisalupavalan Daniki falamuga sadguru bodhanu Tanu shivundai teliyavalan Tanu shivundani teliyutakunu satkarmala shivamati garapavalan Shivamati karmala chesina chittamu సుస్థిరముగ పరిశుద్ధమగున్ నిర్మల చిత్తము తోడను కర్మన మరియగు కర్మనడెన్ కర్మగ చూచిన మనుజుడు శేషసు కర్మల గరిపిన యోగియగున్ కార్యరూపమున కర్మలు విడువన సంభవమగుటను మతిమంతుల్ సర్వకర్మముల ఫలమును విడచిన శాశ్వత సౌఖ్యము గంతురిలన్ చిత్తము తన స్వాధీనము తప్పిన మోక్షము దొరకుట దుర్లభమౌ అయ్యది తన కాయత్తంబైనగు ముక్తి లభించును పాయమునన్ ఒంటివాడనానెంటుగ వేరుగు జంటలేదు భ్రమగంటబడన్ ఒంటిగమనులన్ టినగటినా వెంటం సమస్తం బుంటయగున్ ఓంకారంబను దివ్య బ్రహ్మను తానని నెమ్మది దలచివసన్ దేహమునేనను భ్రాంతిని విడచి చరించిన వాడిల ముక్తుడగున్ గోచరమై వెలుగొండు సమస్తమ గోచరుడను నేను కడగుంటన్ సర్వమునాలో సర్వముననునే నుంటడబద్ధము బరికింపన్ సర్వభూతముల కాధారుడనై ఆదిమరూపుననే నగుచున్ మొదటను మధ్యము చివరను నేనై ఇంపుగ నన్నిట నుంటినలన్ నాడు వేరుగను దేని చూచిటివో నేడు దానినొక చోటగనన్ దివ్య నేత్రమున జూడుమునాకడ సకల చరాచర జంటునటిన్ సర్వమునేనై వెలుగొంటుగనన్ భక్తి భజింపుమునను జేరన్ నీడు మానసము బుద్ధిని నాయడ నిలిపిన నీవే నేనగుదున్ క్షేత్రము దేహము క్షేత్రజ్ఞుడనా నేనని క్షేత్రములను నేనుందున్ ఈ విధి క్షేత్రజ్ఞులగను దివ్య జ్ఞానమే నామతమౌ జనన స్థితి లయ కారక రాజస సాత్విక తామస త్రిగుణములన్ మించి వెలింగెడు ధీరుడు నిర్గుణ పదవిని జీవన్ముక్తుడగున్ మాయా కార్యము మాయయుక్షరమక్షరమన పురుష వివర్తయుగంబు అగుణ దానిన సంగ శాస్త్రమున నరకిన తా పురుషోత్తముడౌ శమదమాది విహితామర గుణతతి సౌఖ్యము నిడనడి గ్రాహ్యమగున్ నిరతము కామము క్రోధము లోభము దుఃఖము నిడనడి త్యాజ్యమగున్ వేద బ్రాహ్మణ యజ్ఞ సునిశ్చిత బ్రహ్మము గణనోం తత్సదితి త్రివిధము దానిని త్రిగుణ శ్రద్ధ విరహిత భక్తి భజింపనగున్ బ్రహ్మభూతుడగు జీవన్ముక్తుడు శోకమోహముల చేనకెదన్ తాత్విక భక్తిని తనుగనిగొను తదనంతరమాత్మను చేరువడిన్ ఏతద్గీతా తాత్పర్యార్థము నింపుగనొక పరిపటింపన్ ఇహమున జీవన్ముక్తుండై పరమండు విదేహ దయా వెలుగున్ విజయ వాటికా వైశ్యవి నిర్మిత శ్రీ కళ్యాణ పదార్చితమౌ మందిరమందున వెలసిన లక్ష్మీ నారాయణ దైవాన్ కితమౌ భగవద్గీతా తాత్పర్యార్థము బాగుగమీరలు వినరయ్యా నిగమాగమ సంవేద్యం బైతగు నిత్యానందమునందరయా వాసిగ స్వామ్య అమృతానంద తీర్థ సునామక కాల్గాంజనేయ కృతం బాగు శ్రీ గీతా తాత్పర్య గీతము భక్తి పఠించిన భాయుగడను. ఓం తత్సత్. ఓం లోకా సమస్తా సుఖినో భవంతు. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. ఓం మంత్రహీనం క్రియాహీనం భక్తిహీనం జనార్దన యత్కృతంతు మయా దేవా పరిపూర్ణం తదస్తు తే. కాయేన వాచా మనసేంద్రియైర్వా బుద్ధ్యాత్మనా వా ప్రకృతే స్వభావాత్ కరోమి యద్యత్ సకలం పరస్మై నారాయణాయేతి సమర్పయామి. ఓం తత్సత్. సర్వం శ్రీకృష్ణార్పణమస్తు. జై గురుదేవ్.
Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev. Thank you.
We'll end here today. We'll continue. We'll start with a new chapter tomorrow. I'll put it up in the group as to what we're going to do. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Thank you.